Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Doug the Retirement Guy, and today we're breaking down some individual funds. If you're like anyone else, you're looking for income potential. Well, we think we found some funds for you to take a serious look at. We're going to break down a series of funds here over the next few days, give you an idea of what can we look at and what can we put some money into that we can still get that income. And the first one we're going to do is Select Sector SPDR ETFs that provides the same sector exposure with enhanced income potential. They're posting 15.06% higher yield. So we're going to take a deeper dive into this particular fund and tell you, is this good for your retirement account, or is this one of those, hey, clickbait, get you into a particular fund and move on. Let's get into today's video. We do have to do the disclaimer, and that is past performances don't guarantee your future results, and this information in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a licensed financial advisor. I am just one who's been studying this stuff for years. The example and suggestions discussed here are basically not suitable for all individual situations, so always contact a financial advisor before making financial decisions. So the fund we're looking at today is going to be from State Street. This is their Technology Select Sector SPDR. Now, what I like about this fund, and I'll tell you up front, is XLKI is the ticker. This is a actively managed ETF fund. And they call it a fund of funds that provides exposure to the U.S. technology sector through, you got it, one of their own ETF funds, XLK, which is, again, the Technology Select Sector SPDR. It aims to generate income by selling short-dated listed call options on the equity holding. So they're using it this is kind of like their income generator. They're using those options to create income. And they've been doing a good job of it. When we look at the yields since April 13th, is the most current one that I was able to locate and find with this fund, is 15.06%. with a 30-day SEC yield of 0.59%. So the fund basically is this. It's an S&P 500 index. Now, they really select and go only after one sector, which is the technology sector. Now, the fund came out July 29th of 2025, so we are short of about 1 year. But the exciting part is this thing only has a 0.35 expense ratio. So that means if you put $10,000 to work for this, only $35 of that $10,000 is going to go to management fees. So that puts a big chunk of your money into investments. While we see a lot of option calling funds using that closer to that 1% category. So very, very low fees here. And they do pay out that monthly distribution. So let's dive a little deeper to the numbers, hardcore, and really show you what's going on. So XLKI has assets about $6 million. Now, I know that's not a lot, but remember, this fund's not over a year old as of yet. But the expense ratio is 0.35. 240,000 shares are outstanding, and they've paid a 12.31% dividend yield. So the 15.06 that we talked about earlier is basically forecasting what they'll do over a 12-month period. So this gives me the hardcore numbers that they've done since July 29th of 2025, paying out 12.31%. So that's actually higher than a lot of different funds I've already looked at and said, this is a solid little dividend. But remember, I don't chase dividends on this channel. We always look at total returns. So we'll look at that there shortly. Now this one pays out on the first of every month, and it does pay that monthly frequency of the distributions. Now I take a look at the chart that we've seen. This thing is going from a 52-week low of $22.83 up to a $27.03. So right now we're really playing in that middle market because the range is running at that 25.51, 25.64, somewhere in there. We take a look at the year to date from January all the way on. We've had some different pieces to it. You look at the drop down here in April. It seems like we always love something that happens. Trump had the tariffs last April. Now he has the Iraqi war in April. It's just April is that month that for some reason either he doesn't like or he just loves to pull a trigger in April. You see the drop off, but you see the massive recovery that it's really done. So it tells me that you have a solid fund playing in those parameters right now year to date. When we take a look at what the holdings are, I dive into the actual underlying asset of this, and this is going to be the XLK ETF. And like we said, 99.9% of the fund is dialed into technology. And when we take a look at technology, out of the top 14, it was like everyone's into the same funds. Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Broadcom. Then we start seeing AMD coming into focus. Cisco's into there. Applied Materials, Intel, Pentair. So all the big names are here, and you can look that, yes, it's heavily rated with Nvidia and Apple, and you might as well throw Microsoft in there. So pretty much 9.5 to 15% is a majority within three funds. So it's definitely right there. It's got the strong names behind it. So definitely got some work behind there to pull some numbers. When we take a look at the dividend chart, this is what I look at as an investor. I want to see what kind of money we're getting back out of this. And as we look at this across the board, fairly steady other than that one spike in January, that we're looking at about that 30 to 32 cent category of distributions per month per share. Now we had that end of the year, I call it that January 29th is what they did because of the New Year's. They paid that out 58 cents. And you look at the rest of them all right in that same 30 and 30 and a half cent range. So decent, solid, comfortable, which I like as a retiree. We look at the performance. Now these are where we're getting into total returns. So we take a look since inception, the total return so far, which is including your distributions and the growth of the fund, up over 23.04%. Year to date, 5.22% total return, and over 1 month, 6.84%. So these numbers I'm really impressed with because not only 1 month are we getting nice growth, not only from distributions, but we're also getting it from the growth of the fund. We take a look at year to date, which is what, about 4 months, 4.5 months, 3.5 months, where we're sitting at 5.22. So definitely heading in the right direction. Now I take a look at that year to date, the total returns. I want to dial deeper into the total returns. How have they done? So total returns, 5.22%, as I just said earlier, is year to date. So that is basically from January 1st to right now the recording of April 14th. You can see we had that dip. Everything was, in that, I'll call it negative return category, bouncing to a positive, down to a negative, bouncing positive. But with this latest growth that we've seen, and that is really because of what's going on with the positive news coming out of Iran and all of that, we're seeing massive growth in the S&P 500, big recovery at that 5.2%. How has it done over the big picture? Well, since the fund came out, as I said back here we're looking at from August all the way to today, 15.82% total return. So when you take a small, narrow picture of the year to date so far, yeah, it struggled because the economy struggled, the stock market struggled, but they're still pulling out a positive note there. When we do the 1 year total return, yes, it has its spikes up and down, but never getting below that zero line. It stayed above it, and now it's staying up over double digits, 15.82%. So these are the kind of things I look at when I look at a fund. Not only just the yield, I look at the total returns, I look at the growth side of it, where's the money coming from, how much we have invested. So hopefully you guys get this, that this fund is really clicking off everything that I have in my category for making a good quality fund. So is this thing good for a retirement? Well, first off, if you've ever watched any of my videos, you know I have a 3 bucket system. One is going to be your foundation. one's going to be your growth, and one's going to be your income. I classify this fund as an income fund for retirement. Because of that yield at 15.06%, it really fits in there well. The growth is not as strong as I would like to have it to kind of switch it to the growth income sector. But realistically, this thing has its full potential of a nice yield with an income. It's got a nice growth side of it, that 1.06. So it really fits well into the income sector. When we take a look at the positives again, though, on the total return numbers, year to date, 5.22%. Really has recovered in just recently with everything going on in the markets. And over the long haul, the past 12 months of a 15.82% growth, I'm kind of pleased with that one so far. So let me know what you think. State Street Technology, is this the ticker XLKI? What are your thoughts? Do you think it fits in the retirement fund? Do you personally own it? Did you even know that this fund was out there and available? I kind of give it that thumbs up for retirement. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear it. Leave a comment down below. And best of all, don't be afraid to hit that like button. It helps the channel the most.
Thank you for watching. Press the